So the Paladin got a rework about 2 to 3 weeks ago on the Korean server, and ever since I've done my Shy video, I've had a bunch of you guys ask me to do a showcase on the Paladin rework. And so on the top left, I actually have the global version, which hasn't got the update to this rework. And the top right, right above my head, is the Korean server, which did get the rework. So you're going to be able to see them side by side, the skills for both side by side. Right below those is the patch notes for the Paladin rework, so I will read through those now. This is translated, and the translation isn't the best sometimes. So there is a lot to cover. I'm not going to talk too much, but without further ado, let's dive right in. All right, so before we get into each skill, there's a couple key points here. Let's go ahead and read them. Developers' comments. Paladin's balance patch was carried out focusing on the following items. They added a concept suitable for the Paladin class, reinforced access and improved ability to sustain damage, and improved hunting ability, which is mobility. They really gave her some solid mobility increases. Currently, the Paladin is less mobile than other classes and has a limited way to deal damage, and it is showing a lack of content compared to other classes in content against multiple enemies. So it can be helpful when dealing with multiple enemies. We have improved the ability to support allies by inflicting a status effect on enemies, strengthening the ability to enter and exit the battlefield, and inflict powerful damage to the enemies by collecting divine power. Now, mental power has been changed to divine power. So if you see the global version, this blue bar right here is MP, mental power is what they're calling it. And on the Korean server right here is white, and it's DP, which is divine power. Sacred power, divine power, can be obtained when using basic attacks and skills. Now, most skills, as I go through this, give 15 divine power every time you use that skill. So you do want to make sure you pay attention to that. Divine power is now replacing mental power. Skills that use to consume mental power no longer consume mental power. So skills previously that used MP don't use MP. Now there's a few skills that if you use a combo effect, they use the divine power instead. It's really nice. We are going to get to it as far as the rework. Up first is shield throw. So we're going to go ahead and check out shield throw, which is the first skill right here on the global server. We'll read them side by side so you guys can get an idea what that looks like. All right, so after using the skill, it has been improved so you can attack from the place where the shield is located. The attack speed and range of the skill has been increased. The maximum number of hits on the skill has been increased by 2. So the range on the skill has been increased, and the number of hits on the skill has been increased by 2. So from 6 to 8 targets. So you can see that right here, 6 targets here and 8 here. And this right here underneath this, which isn't over here, is that MP or divine power recharge. So it gives you 15 divine power. You will see that on all skills. Recharges 15 divine power every time you use any single skill. So you will see that on all of these, just so you're aware ahead of time. The cooldown of the skill has been increased by 1 second, so taking it from a 6 to a 7-second cooldown time. The maximum number of uses has been reduced by 2, so from 3 to 1. So a little bit of a nerf there on the charges. So you see over here it has a 3 charges on a 6-second cooldown time. Over here it's a 1 charge on a 7-second cooldown time. And they added a 2-second cooldown time reduction on the skill, taking it to a 5-second cooldown time once it's leveled up. So that'll be a 1 charge on a 5-second cooldown time, as opposed to extra charges, which gives you 1 extra charge to the skill. So they would have 4 charges on a 6-second cooldown time. Now it gives you 1 charge on a 5-second cooldown time. So a little bit of a nerf there, but they added 2 more additional hits on the target, and they increased the range on the skill. So we're going to go ahead and check that range out real quick to see exactly what that looks like. So I have them both open here. So let's go over here and see. So about here, let's see if I can hit the target. I do not hit the targets. All right, let's see that range increase over here. All right, so we're at the same spot. Let's see if I hit the targets over here. I do hit the targets over there. It doesn't kill them, but I do hit them. So you can see there the range on the skill has been improved, which is very nice for that skill. The attack speed and the range, the attack speed has also been improved, and the number of hittable targets has been improved. So they did increase the range on the first skill, shield throw. All right, the next skill that got a rework is Sword of Condemnation, which is Sword of Judgment on the Korea server. This did get a rework, so we will go ahead and read through that here. The deepening increased range effect is applied by default. So over here, it has a 10% increased range once leveled up. And now they took that away. They added a combo effect, and they just gave that skill 10% increased range. And they added Flow Divine Sword has been affected, or is now in its place. Divine Sword, which is this combo effect right here, applies 50% additional damage of the Sword of Judgment skill damage by consuming all divine power. So it increases, or it gives a 50% increased damage to the skill if you use all divine power. Super armor when using the skill, not applied in the arena, and a stun on successful hit. So it did have a daze. It still has its daze. It does also have an extra stun if you hold the skill button in. Now, I do not have the skill leveled up. I haven't, created a server. I don't play a whole lot. So we are going to have to show you what that looks like inside here. Compared to what it looks like previously, so you can get a little bit of an idea of the difference. So here's what it currently looks like. She just slams her arm down, dazes the target, and that's what it looks like one more time. And now here's what it is. The update will look like. I'm just going to one-tap it without the combo effect. Similar slam. And now here's what it looks like with the combo. Does like an extra damage effect afterwards. As opposed to over here, she just slams. Over here, it does a little bit of an extra damage effect afterwards. So that is the combo effect. That extra damage does do 50%. She does get super armor, but not in the arenas, and it applies a stun. So that is Sword of Condemnation, Sword of Judgment, that second skill. The third skill I got to rework is Sharp Light. We will go ahead and go to that one. And what they did with Sharp Light is to reduce the delay effect when hitting, and the attack speed of the skill technology has been increased. So they did increase the attack speed of the skill. Here's what it looks like previously. Here's what it looks like now. So it's a lot quicker because it still comes with 2 charges on a 5-second cooldown time, but it's a few frames quicker when you hold the skill button in when you use the technology. So the attack speed of the skill has been increased. So it's definitely a faster moving skill. Let's see if we can see what that looks like on some mobs out here, which is right here. So that's what it looks like currently on the global server. Let's see what it's going to look like with the update. So yeah, it's a few frames quicker, not like, crazy or anything, but in the grand scheme of things, it'll definitely help out with, the attack speed overall for that skill, for that class. So that is Sharp Light. Let's go ahead and check out the next skill we have. And that is Heavenly Spear, which is Celestial Spear right here. All right, let's see what that did. Flow Holy Window has been added. So if you see here, there's no third sub-skill. Over here, there is that sub-skill, Flow Holy Window, which adds up to 2 hits by consuming all divine power. So you get 2 additional hits when you consume divine power. Applies 50% additional damage of the damage of Heavenly Spear skill. So it does an additional 50%, applies a 50% additional damage of the damage of Heavenly Spear skill. And it does 2 hits. And you have to hold the skill button in to get that combo effect. So again, not unlocked. So we'll have to show you the differences inside here without on mobs. Here's what it looked like previously. And then here's what it looks like now. So she actually does like a whole extra attack. So here previously, bam, and here's a new one. Bam, bam. So it kind of does 2 attacks. That second attack is going to give 50% additional damage and hit 2 targets. So it's going to hit more targets than just what the base attack did. It does give that 15 divine power back. That is great for AoE or for farming and for range because it is a nice range skill. It didn't add any range, but they did add that combo effect, which adds more damage, more hits, and applies the daze still, or bound. It still applies that bound. So that is Celestial Spear. Next we have is Shield Chase. All right, Shield Chase is right here. Now, Shield Chase, the wording on this, the verbiage for the patch notes is a little wonky. I'll try to translate as best I can. Of different skills, used skill for immediate use, it has been improved to allow. It's almost like they're Yoda. But anyways, I believe what they're saying is you can either use another skill or before or after the skill is being used more quickly. It's harder to test out here, but you can either use a skill more quickly after or before the skill. This is something we're going to have to wait until it comes to global to get a better translation on what that means. The second part of this translation is, even if you do not crash the enemy and then use a skill, ever closer, it has to improve if attacked. I believe this means that, let's try it one more time. Even if you don't attack the enemy, I feel like even if you don't hit the enemy, and then use another skill, ever closer it has to improve if attacked. I'm not 100% sure what that means, to be honest with you. Maybe it means, because it's just a dash ability, it's nothing extra. Dash with that little extra attack at the end. This is more of a gap closer ability than anything else. So here's what it looks like previously. It still had that combo effect. Nothing extra as far as combo effect. It looks like, yeah, it looks like it's quicker. Looks like it's quicker because here she does like an extra jab afterwards. Dash, jab, dash, jab. And over here, just a jab. Just a jab. So it looks like it's a quicker skill animation as well. Lastly, is improved so that you can use Brilliant Rushing skill while using this skill. Brilliant Rushing is Radiant Charge. So they're saying you can use Radiant Charge while using Shield Chase, and Radiant Charge is the next skill that got a tweak. And this is just a nice dash charge ability. So they're saying you can use double dashes, your Shield Chase into your Radiant Charge, which is nuts. You're going to get a lot of mobility from that. I will show you what that looks like in a second. But before we do, I want to talk about Radiant Charge because it is the next skill that got a rework. And it is a very nice rework in my opinion. So Brilliant Rush is Radiant Charge. Skill casting speed and movement distance has been increased, so very nice. It is a solid amount of movement distance increased, a few extra, spaces. After using the skill, it has been improved so that it can be connected naturally to the running motion. So previously, after you got done using Brilliant Radiant Charge, she would stop, and then you would have to start running again. It would slow you down if you were trying to catch targets. Now, after she uses that skill, she can just continue to run. Excuse me. Improvements have been made so that the direction of the movement can be changed while using a skill. So now when you're using Radiant Charge, you can move in different directions while using that skill. Improvements have been made so that if you use other skills while using a skill, it can be stopped. So if you're using Radiant Charge and you want to stop and use Celestial Spear, so you've caught up to your targets and you want to use Celestial Spear, you don't have to go the full distance. You can stop by using another skill right away. It'll stop you and use that other skill. Very nice. The maximum number of hits has been increased from 4 to 8. So as you can see here, 4 hittable targets, and over here we do have 8. So it doubled the hittable targets. As far as damage increases, PvE and PvP damage has changed as follows, and the number of hits increased. So it goes from 491 to 345. That's about a 600% increase on damage for PvE. And then for PvP, it went from 393 to 241. So that went up about 300% on the damage increase for both of those PvE and PvP. So 600 for PvE, 300 for PvP. Next skill we have is Judgment of Light. Oh, let's go back real quick and show you what this looks like. So let's go ahead and show you what Radiant Charge looks like real quick. So here's what it currently looks like. Right there. Let's show you the distance on this bad boy. So we're going to go ahead and start right on this block right here and show you how far she gets. And let's move her over so you can get a good idea of back to back. All right, so now she's at the same spot. Let's get Radiant Charge up there. All right, so here's currently. Now she stops. You notice she stops and you have to continue to run. Over here, a lot further. Oh, I wasn't holding the run button in. A lot further, and she can continue to run. We'll hold that in one more time real quick so you can see what that looks like. So she just continues to run then, as opposed to stopping and then running. So she gets almost a 30% increase on the range on that. I want to say roughly. I didn't measure it or anything, but like a 30% increase on the range on that skill, and she can continue to run. So it's a huge mobility boost. Here's what it looks like. You're supposed to be able to use your dash ability, your shield chase into Radiant Charge. So let's see what that looks like. So previously, that's what it looked like, and here's what it now looks like. So you can just use them right in a row. A lot of mobility with those two options. That is what the rework was for Radiant Charge. Let's move on to the next skill, Judgment of Light. Judgment of Light. Go ahead and Judgment of Light right here. And over here. So Judgment of Light got a solid rework. I really, really like it a lot. So the behavior of the skill has been changed. So let's see what it looks like currently. That's what it looks like currently. So she pulls her arm back and slams currently, and now she puts it forward underneath her left leg and then swings it back up in a slashing motion, as you can see right there. All right, so that's the animation change. The effect of bound on successful hit, bound on hit. has been changed to stun on first hit, knockdown on successful hit. Stun on first hit right here, knockdown on successful hit. PvE and PvP damage has been increased. So PvE damage is up 40% times 4, so 160%. PvP damage is about 27% from 344 to 371, so about 108% damage increase on PvP for that skill as well. One last thing is it did get a combo effect, so if you notice over here, it lost one of its abilities, so it actually lost the attack range on the skill. That did just go away. It didn't like get applied to the skill automatically. It's just gone. Instead, what they did was they added this combo effect. This combo effect is called Divine Judgment, which applies 150% damage to Judgment of Light skill by consuming all divine power, super armor when invincible attacking while using the skill. So you get invincibility while using the skill and super armor, but not applied in the arenas. The super armor is not applied in the arenas. I'm not sure about the invincibility because of the verbiage there. We're going to have to wait and see. It just doesn't make too much sense. It literally says super armor when invincible, attack while using the skill, not applied in the arena. I'm not sure. Stun on first hit, knockdown on successful hit. So that is standard for the skill. So it has 150% increase on the damage. Let's go ahead and... So we can't, again, show you what that looks like outside of here because I don't have it unlocked. So that's what it currently looks like. And here's what it looks like again. So she uses the same skill again, just one slam. And she uses it twice, back to back. And it does 150% of the damage. Invincibility while using the second combo effect of the skill, 150% damage, knockdown, and a stun and a knockdown on that skill. So that skill got a nice rehaul Judgment of Light rework for that skill. The last skill here is Lilias Breath, which is the heal slash enrage. And what that did is there's no... It added 50 divine power recovery effect when using the skill. So as you see here, no 50. And over here, it does have this 50. So it gives you 50 divine power back once you use this skill, aside from the heal and the enrage. So overall, the Paladin got a solid rework, a lot more mobility, some damage increases on 2 skills, some range increases on a few additional skills. So overall, she did get a solid buff to most of her skills, especially with helping her with mobility. That is everything for the Paladin rework. I hope you guys have enjoyed and learned something. If you're excited for this class, you're a Paladin main or you're a Lancer main thinking about some variety, she does look like she's going to be beefed up and pretty nice once she does hit globally with this rework, which I would assume is coming soon because typically any rework that comes to the Korean server does come to global within, sometimes it's up to a month, usually within 1 to 2 weeks. So thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I appreciate you stopping by. Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out. I greatly appreciate it. And with that being said, I will see you next time.